Hi there. My name is David Batzofin, and this is Linden with David Batzofin. And one of the new additions to our lovely leafy suburb is biokineticist Willem Dercksen. And today I'm chatting to Willem about fall prevention for senior citizens. Now, that may not sound too serious, but Willem, for senior citizens, a broken hip can almost be a death sentence.
Yes, hi David. That is 100% correct. Yeah, broken hips, spines, wrists, all of that makes your life so much more difficult. And sometimes the broken hip isn't most probably or the primary reason to be fatal. But when you go into hospital, as we all know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong there as well. So you just want to stay away from those hospitals at all costs. But like you said, a broken hip is a terrible thing for senior citizens.
All right, so talk us through fall prevention. What do senior citizens, I mean, it sounds like you want to say that with a smile on your face, but it's not. It's very serious, and it's something that maybe they need to be aware of in their environment, how slippery their floors are, if they're walking carefully, all those sort of things. So talk us through what senior citizens can do in order to A, not fall, and if they do, what you can do in order to help them.
Yes, I definitely have. Over the past few years, I've developed quite a soft spot for my senior citizens, and yeah, I've just seen the problems that they're having and how damaging these falls are. So what someone can do is to acknowledge that they are struggling in terms of walking, and especially when people's confidence has dropped due to a previous fall or an injury, then things get very difficult for them to walk around, get in and out of a car, going to shopping centers. It's very tough for them just because they don't have that confidence anymore. Definitely the one thing that I do, how to help my patients, or here at the practice, we just go through a lot of simulations that is very direct to their normal activities at home. So we do a lot of balancing exercises, strengthening exercises of the legs. We're also just looking at things that like their shoes, what type of shoes are they wearing, because that's a big problem that I've seen. People not wearing their proper shoes, and that also causes a lot of trips and falls, slips, things like that. And then, yeah, like some of them actually invited me back to their homes just to come and have a look at what can we change to try and help them to be a bit more mobile. A lot of like stairs, putting up railings, anti-slip stairs, getting away all those cables that runs around in their house, especially through the hallway. So yeah, there's things that you can take away, physical obstacles, and then also just working on their confidence. Because a big thing for senior citizens is just to try and get back their independence.
Yeah.
Because so many of them fall back onto their children or other helpers to just try and help them to get along in the day. But the best thing for them is to try and be independent from that, build up that confidence, be as safe as possible, learn a few new tricks here and there from me, and then that helps them a lot.
When you say tricks, you're not going to teach them how to duck and how to roll and then stand up like something in a James Bond movie. Or do you do that? How to fall properly, tuck your shoulder in, roll with the punches.
Yeah, no, some of them have requested that technique, but unfortunately, when you fall, time doesn't pause so that you can think. It just happens like that. So there's no time to think. But yeah, like unfortunately, there isn't the best way to fall because you won't think of that, especially when there's no time for that. But in terms of tricks, there's a few things that you can do in terms of how to prevent a fall. That's the main thing. So holding on to something stable, that's a nice trick to have. Proper shoes, how to get down up from a chair, that's a safe way, especially those low couches to get up from there. Yeah, just like a few functional, practical things that you just need to modify a little bit to help them.
Because also, I should imagine if they fall and they put their hands out, there's every possibility that they're going to break a wrist or maybe sprain a wrist, so they end up with not one but 2 or possibly more injuries out of a single fall.
Yes, definitely. Unfortunately, falling and putting a hand out, it's never good. But the only upside to that, or the good side to that, is that I'll rather have a broken wrist than a broken face. Unfortunately, that does happen sometimes, because your face is just your main thing to try and protect. But unfortunately, that is quite depressing to think about that in terms of that. But rather try and break your fall as much as you can. But
without breaking your bodily parts. You were talking about shoes. Are there sort of non-slip soles that people can put on their shoes in order to help them not slip in the house?
Definitely. So things that the shoes are, it's quite a big range of shoes that one can get and that you shouldn't get. Obviously, in the winter time or late summer, people tend to have like these nice soft, how can I say, almost like pantoffels. I don't know what you call them, but yeah. So usually that tends to slip out of their feet, or like little flip flops, things like that. It doesn't have like a proper sole that covers the entire foot nice and snug. Those are bad shoes to wear, especially when you're going out. And when you're in your house, you know your surfaces, you're comfortable there. Yeah, then you can wear them. But when you go out into the public, you're not aware of where every loose stone is, or little thing that you can trip over. So I would definitely not recommend flip-flops, open shoes. That's unfortunately not a good shoe. Any shoe that has like a proper rubber sole, that's a good shoe to have, because that's the most non-slip type of material that you can get. Also something that doesn't have a very high heel, just because that throws your sense of gravity off as well. I know the ladies love to have like a little bit of a lift there at the back, but the older you get, the more frail you are, the less and less that heel gets, unfortunately. Also, just like a proper closed shoe, it also works nicely. If you also get to your very, very frail stages, a shoe that has laces is also not the best option to have. First of all, the client struggles to tie them with their fingers. That fine motor skills isn't there anymore, so they don't knot everything nicely and tuck it in properly. So that also causes a falls risk to trip on your own shoelaces. Something that's easier is to have like a nice kind of a zip that's on the shoe, that you can purely just grab the zip and just pull it up or pull it down to open up again. So that's a much more functional type of shoe, and it also clamps on the shoe very tightly, and that's the best way.
And do you find more women than men are falling, or are there no statistics really available?
Sure. Yeah, it's I would say it's almost 50-50%. Just in terms of some men and women do get older than the others, especially in a couple. You'll see that the one partner always gets a bit older than the other one. But I would say it's 50-50.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing, and it's just crossed my mind, if you're going to be walking with a walking stick, or perhaps with crutches for some reason, or even one of those walking frames, a lot of those things have rubber tips on the end of them, which also get worn. And surely people should check those constantly to make sure that the tip that they've got is fit for purpose, basically, and it hasn't worn through, and you're now back on bare wood or bare metal, which can slip even though you believe that you're well protected.
Yes, definitely. You have to, it's like your car. You have to do maintenance on it on a regular basis. I think if you, from the get-go, if you buy a proper walking aid, like a walking frame or a cane, things like that, sure, you definitely have to pick one that is correct for you, because all of us are different heights, different shapes and sizes. You have to modify it quite properly to get it accustomed to your needs. Yeah, when you come back to the rubber endings at the bottom of the cane or the walking aid, yeah, you definitely have to look at that. It shouldn't be worn down so that it's, how can I say, metal on the floor. Because that's even worse. Then you're worse off than having it.
You are indeed.
Are you trusting?
Go ahead. You're trusting?
Sorry, I'm just saying that because every time when you place that cane down or your walking aid down, you're placing 100% confidence in it to support you.
Yeah.
But now there's metal on a tile, it's just going to slip, and that's even worse for you.
If people do buy walking sticks and they're coming to you for whatever reason, can you advise them on the height that the walking stick has to be so that they're not bent over while they're using it, which instead of helping is actually going to hinder their progress?
100%, yes. That's a very, very important thing to do. Once a patient comes in, we do the assessment, then we look at the walking aid. So if that cane is too short for them, obviously then they're going to kind of lean over to the one side, which is also very bad for them. So we just need to adjust the cane to that perfect length. There is an actual set length where it should be. It has been worked out, which is the perfect height for every individual. So I know what that is, luckily. So I just adjust the cane or the walker itself, that frame, according to its heights for the individual.
And go faster stripes on a Zimmer frame is not what they want.
No, no, unfortunately.
If there are people who are watching this, or maybe children of parents who are watching this, and they'd like to contact you, I know the telephone number off by heart now, 076 870 8031. That's the contact number for Willem. It's easier than the email address, which goes on forever. And Willem and I still can't spell biokineticist, except he can because it's on the card in front of him. Willem, once again, thanks for chatting to me. Their telephone number, 076 870 8031. I wish you all the very best, and we will chat to you again soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David, for having me.